yachad, hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yananai, nananai, nananai, hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yananai, nananai, nananai.
Hands together.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, couple things as we get started. If you have an honor and you have a reading honor, your reading honors are over on the table over here. And when it is your turn, meaning when I call your name, you'll come on up to the microphone here. And that way you can look at Leah and you can read your honor, okay, and get eye contact. Clear? Good? If you have a cell phone, will you turn it off? And that way you don't get a call in the middle of the service. My rule is if we get a call, I answer it, all right? And that's fun for everybody, okay? Apple Watches too, if you'll steal them, that would be great. If we need to leave quickly for whatever reason, it's good to know where the exits are. Behind you, to the side, behind me, okay? We are using this Red Sea door. So if you'll reach under your seat, you will find a Red Sea door. You'll see that this is a super friendly prayer book, meaning on the right is the Hebrew, on the left is the English, and in the middle is the transliteration. This is a highly participatory service, and the hope is that you participate in any way that you can. If the language is unfamiliar or the tunes for the prayers are unfamiliar, snap, clap, la-la-las. God understands la-la-las just fine, okay? But it's really important that we have the energy because we're, a small group, okay? So the energy that you give to Leah, she's going to put right back to you. Imagine two mirrors with a light reflecting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's really, really important. Some introductions. So, Cantora Soloist Jessica Tillum. Our Gabbai is Joanne Lipschutz. Joanne, raise your hand right there, okay? I'm Rabbi Spike Anderson. Here, everybody knows Leah. Take a moment or two or three. Turn to the people around you. Hi, my name is. I haven't seen you since, whatever it is, but let's make friends. Folks who are online, give us a shout out. Tell us who you are and say Mazel Tov to our bat mitzvah.
Manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yananai, nananai, nananai, hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yananai, nananai, nananai.
So, Leah, we've talked about this before. Bat mitzvah, rite of passage. In other words, you're going to be doing something to show that you are a Jewish adult in the eyes of your community. What is it that you're doing? Well, something that you've been practicing and preparing for months and even years, and that's leading us in our prayers, in our services. And the hope is, the idea is that what happens today with the leading us in prayer and the chanting of Torah and your Devar Torah, your sermonette that you're going to be giving, gives you a profound sense of Jewish pride and confidence, which then you use for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which I'm sure that you will. So one of the things that we're going to be doing as part of our service today is presenting you with your adult Jewish clothing, which is your talit, right, your talit. So according to the tradition, last month, last week, even this morning before your bat mitzvah, you weren't allowed to publicly wear a talis because you were a kid. And now as one of the public signs, one of many, that's going to happen in the next 90 minutes, we are going to present you with your adult Jewish clothing. And to do that, we're going to have Grammy Arlene Greenspan come on up to help. I think Dara and Marcus are going to help you come on up. You're doing great. You're doing really great. Okay, so Leah, come nice and close to Grammy.
As this talit is draped around your shoulders, may the voices of the generations speak to you. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth. As you are embraced by the folds of this talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and those of this holy congregation. May the simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence. As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this talit, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
Beautiful. And now you're going to, Leah, you're going to read the blessing, the talis blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batziti.
Amen. Okay. And Grammy's going to wrap the talis around you, and your arms come to the outside. Fix her hair, give her a little squeeze, a hug. This is a touchy-feely service. Yeah. Stay right here for a second. So folks, we know that families and communities come together for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they're sad reasons. This one, super happy. Super, super happy. And we need these happy moments. We need these simchas as families and as communities. So what we Jews do when we know we're in the midst of a particular type of time is we pray the Shehechianu. Literally, thank you, God, for this moment in time that we're here and together, and may we have this type of joy and connection again and again and again. Please join us on page 5 for our Shehechianu. Put your arm around her while we do it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Give her a little squeeze. All right. Great. I'll have you come on down. And Leah, you're going to lead us on page 6.
God be with me on this occasion of my bat mitzvah. Help me make meaningful the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain with me a sense of holiness, inspire in me a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make my life easy, resolve my problems, map out the directions of my life. I ask only that you strengthen within me the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will. In this hour of my bat mitzvah, I invoke your blessings upon my parents and friends and all who have loved and cared for me and have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and my achievement, you who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Beautiful. And on page 10, Leah, you're going to lead us in Ashrei, which is Psalm 145. Psalm 145 is the prayer that reminds us about gratitude, that life is sometimes really difficult, personally and socially and politically, environmentally, there's so many difficulties around, and so the rabbis have Ashrei for us to remind us that there's so much that we can be grateful for, and when we focus on that, we're able to get through whatever is going on. Will you lead us when you're ready on page 10?
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, oja hallelu hasela. Ashrei ha'am shekahalo, Ashrei ha'am she'adonai Elohav, tehillah l'David, aromim ha'Elohai ha'melech, va'avar hashim ha'le'olam va'ed, b'chol yom avar heka, va'ahalel hashim ha'le'olam va'ed, gadol Adonai umhulal me'od, v'li gdulato ein heker, dor ledor yeshabach ma'asecha, ugvirotecha yagidu, Hadar kavod hodeha, v'divrei nifloteha asiha, ve'ezuz norateha yomeru, ugdulata asaprana, zeherav tuvha yabiu, v'tzidakateha yaranenu, hanun v'rachum Adonai, erech hapaim ugdol hased, tov Adonai lakol, v'rahamav al kol ma'asav, yoduha Adonai kol ma'aseha, V'hasitaha yevarhucha, kevod malhutaha yomeru, ugviroteha yedaberu, hodiach livnei ha'adam gevurotav, uchvod hadar malhuto, malhuteha malhut kol olamim, umimshalteha b'chol dor vador, Zomech Adonai lechol hanoflim, v'zokef lechol ha'kifufim, Einei chole lecha yesaberu, ve'ata noten lahem et ochlam be'ito, poteach et yadecha, u'masbiach lechol haratzon, tzadik Adonai b'chol derahav, ve'hasid b'chol ma'asav, karov Adonai lechol korav, lechol asher yikra'uhu be'emet, ritzon yireav ya'aseh, Ve'et shavatam yishma v'yoshihem,
Shomer Adonai et kol ohav, ve'et kol rishaim yashmid.
Tehillat Adonai yedaber pi, v'yavarich kol basar shem kodsho le'olam v'hed,
V'anachnu nevarech ya, me'atad ve'ad olam, hallelujah. Beautiful, and we talked about this before, Leah. Ashrei is long. And you did a good job with it. So what I would ask is, now that we're sort of warmed up with this idea of gratitude, that everybody think for a second about something that you are really profoundly grateful for in your life. And I'm going to come around and see who wants to share. Who wants to share what in your life you are profoundly grateful for on this Shabbat? Parents, either one of you want to share what you're grateful for?
No, just for everybody to be
Here.
So thank you all for being here. And Lee, you got this.
Yeah, beautiful. This row, someone want to share something that you're really profoundly grateful for? Tell us who you are.
I'm Lacey. I'm a cousin. I'm extremely grateful for my family and how supportive they are.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, tell us who you are.
I am Harriet Weissman, and I am grateful for my lifelong friendship with Dara.
Beautiful. Randlet's in the house. Someone want to share? Dari, you want to share something? Tell us who you are.
I'm Darby, and I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for my family and friends.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Either one of you two want to share what you're grateful for? Tell us who you are.
I'm Tara Targovnik, and I'm grateful for my husband, my son, and my friends.
Beautiful. Okay. Stephen, you're good? Okay, this row. Anybody want to share? Great.
I'm Ella, and I'm grateful for my family and friends.
Beautiful. Okay. Want to share?
I'm Lisa, grateful for my children, being here tonight, and family.
Yeah, wonderful. Ms. Joanne.
I'm grateful for family and friends.
Okay. Want to share? Tell us who you are.
We're grateful for our family,
Yeah,
my husband, my children, and my grandchildren.
beautiful.
and we're very proud of him.
Yeah. I'm coming to the back. Cheap seats in the back. 2. Fine. I like it. All right. Who's sharing? Tell us who you are.
My name is Talia Edwards, and I'm grateful for my friends and my family. You want to say something?
Okay. Fasten it down.
My name is Michael, and I'm thankful for my life that God has given me.
I love it. Good job, Michael. Jessica, share something that you're grateful for.
I am grateful for this Jewish community and getting to witness these beautiful events and the simchas.
Yeah. I'm grateful for all of the medical attention and technology that's available to us. It is really, really amazing. You want to share something that you're grateful for?
Yeah, I'm grateful for my family and my friends, and
Beautiful.
everybody who helped me get here.
Beautiful. Okay. So let us continue on page 13. We're going to pray responsively. So, Leah, you're going to lead us, and where it's italics, we all, in a booming voice, are going to give her our energy.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We are warmed up. We rise for Baruch Hu, which you'll find on page 15.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Hamivorach. Hamivorach leolam vaed. Hamivorach. Hamivorach leolam vaed.
And in a moment, you're going to lead us on the inside cover in Ma'ariv Aravim as our afternoon leads into evening, this Mincha Ma'ariv service. And we Jews, of course, our days start at night. This prayer reminds us that every time that we have a new day, every evening, we actually get a chance to start anew. We can, Leah, with our thoughts and our intentions, what we choose to stand up for, how we approach other people and ourselves, we can create and recreate our world around us. We have some control. We are not locked in to yesterday or yesteryear. When you're ready, will you lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishanei itim, umhalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakohavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipne hoshech, v'hoshech mipne or, uma'ariv yom
Umevi,
Laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai Sevaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Amen, amen. In a moment, we're going to do page 16 with Ahava Rabbah, which talks about God's abundant love. And as you think through your life, Leah, of all the people who really love you and care about you, many of whom are going to be in this sanctuary right now, just take a look. Just take a look at the people. Give her a little wave, okay? These are your people. These are your friends, your family, community. And this prayer reminds us, if the long list of people who love us, that God's on the list. And maybe we put God as first, or in the middle, or even at the end. But that when we are going through life, that we are not walking alone. We have the divine presence with us always. And sometimes it just takes us a moment to remember, to recall that that's the way that we stroll. So when you're ready, Ahava Rabbah on page 16.
Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, Hamla Gedola Vitera Hamalta Aleinu, Ba'avor Avotenu Ve'imotenu, Shabbatu Veha, Batlamdem Huke Hayim, Kain Tehonenu, Utlamdenu, Ham Rahem Rahem Aleinu, Vitain Belibenu, Lehavin Ulhaskil, Lishma, Lilmod Ulamed, Lishmor, Vela Sot Ulkayim, Et Kol Divrei Talmud Toratecha Be'ahava, Baruch Atah Adonai Haboher Be'amo Yisrael Be'ahava.
Excellent. Okay, so now we're standing, so I want us to all feel our feet on the ground and take a nice deep breath together. Feeling ourselves both grounded and connected to one another with each breath that we take. Getting ready for our Shema on page 18.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. In a moment, you're going to lead us in our V'ahavta prayer on page 18. And the V'ahavta prayer is part of the Shema. It actually came up in last week's Torah portion. And V'ahavta essentially poses the question, when is it that we're supposed to be our best self? When is it we're supposed to be our best aspirational self and keep the divine on the forefront of our mind? And the answer that the prayer gives us is, well, when we're standing up, when we're sitting down, when we're at home, when we're on the way. In other words, we're supposed to be our best selves always. Now, that might seem like a good answer, Leah, but it's actually not a good answer. How can you be your best self always? How can we be mindful of anything always? It's almost impossible. And so what the V'ahavta does, it reminds us that we have reminders that we have an aspirational self, like your tallis, like your mezuzah on your door, like the Jewish books in your home, your synagogue, your Jewish community. All of these things are reminders that we have an aspirational self. So when you are ready, will you lead us on page 18 with our V'ahavta?
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'lechtecha v'adere u'shachbecha u'v'kumecha u'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'vtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elechem emet. I'd like to invite to the choir mic right over there Lisa Winholtz and Tara Targovnik to come on up and to lead us in our responsive prayer on page 19. Together, you were in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering.
Even today, you are in the hope that, like a beam of light, brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are in the love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love, and we sang a new song to you. And still today, we sing that song.
We praise you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Michamocha back inside cover.
Michamocha ba'alim Adonai, Michamocha ne'edah b'kodesh, Nora tehillah lo seifelet, Nora tehillah lo seifelet.
Adonai Imloch me'olam va'ed.
Adonai Imloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Michamocha ba'alim Adonai, Michamocha ne'edah b'kodesh, Nora tehillah lo seifelet, Nora tehillah lo seifelet.
We rise on page 21 for our standing prayer, our Amidah. And as we do so, we enter into a particular space of conversation. The conversation is not just what we say, but what we hear. In between the words of our heart, and the silence to follow. Page 21, Amidah.
Adonai, open up thy life, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gwila Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Umashiach Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hatav L'Hava V'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somef Nofrim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ve'naman Ata Lechayot HaKol,
Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol. I'd like to invite family friends Kim Ranlett and Harriet Weissman to lead us on page 23.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to others.
There's holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships.
There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There's holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song or philosophy.
There's holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai our God.
Kedusha, page 24.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרוב, ככתוב בידך, וקרא זה על זה ואמר,
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech kol haaretz, Kivodo.
Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Shimcha bechol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, vehu Yashmienu, verachamav leinei kol trai. Ani Adonai Elohechem,
Yimloch Adonai leolam, Elohai Zion, ledor vador. Hallelujah.
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador, Ledor vador, nagid galecha.
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador, Ledor vador, nagid galecha.
ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador, Ledor vador, nagid galecha.
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador.
לדור ודור נגיד לך, כי המלך גדול גדול וקדוש 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 אתה, כי המלך גדול גדול וקדוש 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 אתה. One more time, לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador, Ledor vador, nagid galecha.
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador.
לדור ודור נגיד לך.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh, and we have a seat. Leah, will you lead us on page 25 responsively?
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor. It has always been a break in the routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of safety, a fountain of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony, A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attained its fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Page 26, Yismechu.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמחו ויתנגו בתוך השבת.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת.
Here we go. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. I'd like to call up some Camp Coleman friends to lead us on page 27. Livy Jones and Lacey Cass and Izzy Seidman. Come on up on page 27. And then also to come up, because you are on deck, are Hayden Polikoff and Samantha Jaffe. You're going to be leading us on page 28. So Livy and Lacey and Izzy, when you're ready on page 27 at the top, and you'll lead us responsively. Yep, you can tilt the mic down.
Our world is full of wonders and miracles, but all it takes is one little hand placed before our eyes, and we see nothing.
But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles.
When we are bruised, what miracle heals us? When we see beauty, what miracle elevates us? When we hear music, what miracle moves us?
When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us?
Every springtime is a miracle, every snowflake is a miracle. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the hopes we cherish, each is a miracle.
For all these miracles, may your name be exalted and blessed forever and ever. Okay. Hayden and Samantha, come on up. On page 28.
Our God, we know there is no greater gift than peace. Help us to find the peace that comes from the love of your Torah.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace.
Help us to find peace in ourselves and among all people. O God of peace, bless us with peace.
You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed is God, teacher of peace. Sim Shalom on page 28.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom,
tova uveracha.
We would invite everyone to take a moment or two for silent meditation, reflection, prayer, communion, and in the silence, what is it that you hear in your conversation with the divine? Strange as our situation here on earth, each of us has come for a short visit, not knowing why, is sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we do know, that we are here for the sake of humanity, for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. Many times a day, I realize how my own outer and inner life is built on the labors of my fellow human beings, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received and am still receiving.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Lee, I'd invite you to come on back up to the bima and to meet your parents, Dara and Russ, to come on up as well. Russ and Dara, you're going to offer your daughter what we're calling the parent blessing, which you'll find on page 31. And this blessing is it's a mashup. It's an amalgamation of words from the Talmud. And these great rabbis of the Talmud 2,000 years ago weren't just great sages, they were parents. And so through the millennia, you are now sharing words that have come down through our tradition, parent to parent to parent, and on this day, sharing them with your daughter.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
Leah, may your heart be filled with intuition, and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
A Jewish home opens its heart, and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today, our child, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah and is welcomed into the congregation. May this moment be blessed.
Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. Yeah, beautiful. And parents, stay up here with us. I'm going to invite up Brother Micah Arrow and cousin Lacey Greenspan for the Ark opening. We are giving a shout out to cousin Marley Greenspan, who's already at college, Also like to invite up Aunt and Uncle Mark and Karen Greenspan to prepare to undress the Torah. And I'd invite all the grandparents to come on up to the Bima. Please, everybody, rise on page 32 for our Torah service.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umimshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz li'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom av harachamim heitiva v'irtzonecha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki v'chal levad batachnu melech elam v'nisa Adon olamim ki mitzion teitzei Torah ki mitzion teitzei Torah udevar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Hi, Leah. How you doing? Good. You're doing great. You're leading us beautifully. Leah, I want you to keep something in mind, and that is that you and the Torah have something really profound in common. And that is both of you are here, you and the Torah, because of very real decisions that came from the people who precede you in your family. Your parents, take a look behind you. See your parents. Grandparents, take a look behind you. And if you look behind your grandparents, you're going to see missing grandparent, right? You know what I mean by that? Yeah. And behind your grandparents, you're going to see your great-grandparents. And great-great-great, and great-great-great, great-great-great-great-great. We believe that the Jewish generations are winding themselves around this sanctuary again and again and again. We believe that they're here and that they're smiling because of what we're doing right now, because of what we're doing today and who you are, who you've become. A young adult woman entering the Jewish community. So much had to happen in our history, your family's history, our people's history, for you to be able to be here and the Torah to be able to be here. It's almost mind-boggling, yet here we are, a miracle in itself. So symbolically, to show this, we are going to pass the Torah down through the generations. I'll hold it, just give it a little hug. There you go. Okay. Pass to Mom. We're actually going to pass Torah to Dad. And I want you to face Dad, and Dad's going to place Torah right onto your shoulder. Okay, let's make sure she has it. Okay. Okay.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Gadlul Adonai iti umaromama Shemo yachdav Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagivura v'hatiferet v'hanetzavod Ki kol hashamayim uvaretz Ki kol hashamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai lamanacha Lamid na'aseh lechol erosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachvu lehakodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachvu lehakodsho Ki gadol Adonai Eloheinu romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 lai
Please be seated. So, part of Leah's bat mitzvah, this amazing Shabbat afternoon, evening, is to be chanting from the Torah, from the original. If you reach under your seats, you're going to find a big blue book that says the Torah. That's what we're going to be using. There's actually 2 blue books in there. The other one says Mishkan Tefillah. So if you have that one, that's the wrong one. You want the one that says the Torah. And if you turn to page 1406, 1406, you'll be able to follow along from Parshat Akev in the book of Deuteronomy. That's 1406. Now, just a straw poll here for a second. Raise your hand if this is your first bar or bat mitzvah. Okay. Raise your hand if you've been here 10 or fewer, to 10 or fewer bar or bat mitzvahs in your life. Okay? 100 or fewer. More than 100. Okay. So here's the thing, whether this is your first one, your 10th one, or your 100th one or more, what Leah's doing is really hard. It is really difficult. She is reading in the original without any vowels or punctuation marks. She's reading in a language that she wasn't born speaking, and it takes tremendous amount of work, not just months, years. So Akev is towards the end of the book of Deuteronomy, and God, through Moses, is warning us, the Jews, that the biggest danger we're going to face when we get into this new land and in our future years, including now, the biggest danger we're going to face is success. Success. Because when we face success, when we have success, with time, we tend to forget how we got here, what we had to go through to get here, the lessons that we learned along the way, and we start thinking of ourselves as the center of our success, that it's all because of us, as opposed to relying on the people around us, our traditions, our history, and the divine. So God's message, which is part of Akev, is for us to remember where we came from, how and who got us here, and hang on to those lessons as we go through the successful days and years, decades and millennia ahead of us. When we are ready up here? Okay, wonderful. So for our first Aliyah, we're going to call up grandparents Karen and Jeffrey Arrow. Ya'amdu Yosef ben Yitzchak ve'chayach shanda la'aliyah l'shareshon. So you'll come on up here. so you're going to come on over here with me. Okay. And here's a microphone when you are ready. Baruch. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu es torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Hang on to that. Yep, thank you.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'shamarta mishmartaho v'hukotav u'mishvotav u'mitzvotav kol hayamim v'datem hayom ki lo et benehem asher lo yado va'asher lo ra'o et musar Adonai Elohehem et godlo et yado ha'hazaka v'uzro hanatuyah ve'et ototav ve'et ma'asav asher asa betoch Mitzrayim lefaroch melech Mitzrayim ulhol artso.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When you are ready. Bless you.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'sochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. Okay, we're to have you two just stand right over here behind Miss Joanne. And you just wait up here with us, okay? All right. For our second aliyah, grandmother, aunt, and uncle, Arlene Greenspan, Karen and Mark Greenspan, Ya'amdu, Hannah, Leizda, Bat Daniel Veliba, Gittel, Mordechai, Ben Meir, V'Hana, La Aliyah Hasheni. Okay, come on over here. Wonderful. Okay, who's leading this merry band? Okay. One of you hold the microphone. Baruch Hu when you're ready.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch
Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Grandma, put your hand right here.
Amen. Va'asher asa lehel Mitzrayim lesusav ulrifbo asher hetzihiv et me'am suf al penehem berod from ahorehem vaya abetem Adonai ad hayom hazeh va'asher asa lahem bamidbar ad boahem ad hamakom hazeh va'asher asa ledatan vela aviran bene Eliav ben Reuven asher patstaha haaretz et piha v'tivlaem ve'et betayhem ve'et aholehem ve'et kol hayakum asher beragalecha bekerev kol Yisrael.
Beautiful, beautiful. Just put your yod right below the Israel. That way we know where we are. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Friends, when you are ready.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan chaynu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Give her a little hug and kiss. First group, we can have you come on down when you're ready. Okay. For our third Aliyah, we're calling up proud parents, Dara and Russ Arrow. Ya'amdu Dina Tartzel Bat Meir Vahana Ve Yerachmiel Ben Yosef Vechaya La Aliyah Hashlishi. I must take your seat and just touch and kiss. Let me just turn on the mic for you. Okay, whenever you are ready.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Tein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ki Enehem Haroot Ekol Maaseh Adonai Hagadol Asher Asa Ushamartem Ekol HaMitzvah Asher Anohi Mitzaveha Hayom Leman Tehezku Ovatem Verishtem Et Haaretz Asher Atem Ofrim Shama Lerishta Ulemaan Ta'arihu Yamim Al Ha'adama Asher Nishba Adonai La'avotehem Latet Lahem Uzaram Eretz Zavatala Udevash.
Beautiful. Ross, take your seat, please, and just touch and kiss right there.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Temet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. Okay, this group can come on down. And parents are going to hang out on the other side of the Miss Joanne and Leah, we're going to have you sit down for a second next to Jessica. Just for a moment, don't get too comfortable. We are having you sit literally so we can have you stand up again in a minute, okay? I forgot what a nice voice you have. Thanks for sharing your voice and not just your words. So, Leah, you're about to make an aliyah to the Torah. You're going to ascend to the Torah. That's why we're sitting, so you can rise up physically and come. And the idea is that it's not just a physical rising, but more like the rising is emblematic of a spiritual rising, that you are ascending to the Torah. You're literally, with the maftir, with this last aliyah that you're doing, saying the blessings before and after, you're going to a higher spiritual plane, one where we have been waiting for you to come to from the get-go, and not just today, but since, for years. So in a moment, I'm going to call you up with a special trope for your bat mitzvah, and it's in this moment that you make aliyah to Torah. Ya'amdu ta'amo ta'amod liba ahava bet yerachmiel v'dina le'aliyah haTorah. Okay, so I want you to take your talis, your tzitzit. I want you to go to that first word, touch and kiss. Okay, and when you are ready, Baruch.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Ki ha'aretz asher atem v'shamaha l'rishta lo ha'eretz Mitzrayim hi asher yitzatem misham asher tizra et zarach v'hishkita Beragaleha kegon hayarak. Behaaretz asher atem ofrim shema l'rishta eretz arim ufkaot limtar hashemayim tishtemayim eretz asher Adonai Elohecha toreshota tamid ene Adonai Elohecha ba mereshit hashana ve'ad harichana.
Beautiful. Seat right here. Touch and kiss. Okay. When you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayei olam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. Okay, Mom and Dad, will you come on over and in front of the open Torah, I'd like you to flank Leah and put a hand on her shoulders. Okay, I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please. Leah, we're going to give you a special Misha Berach for your continued spiritual development with the idea that today is a spiritual cornerstone for you. And a spiritual cornerstone, Leah, is one that you can push off of to go where you're going to go, but also always find your way back to it. We'll do it in Hebrew and then in English. Misha Berach, Avotenu v'Imatenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Hu Yavarech, Et, Liba, Ahava, Bat, Yerachmiel, v'Dina, Shehagia, Lemitzvot, La'alta, L'Torah, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Yismi Reha v'Chayeha, V'chinein et Liba, Liyot Shalem im Adonai Eloheha, L'gopa Torato, L'lecha bidrachav, L'mishmor mitzvotav, V'tim sachen, V'sechel tov, B'nei Elohim v'Adam v'nomar, Amen. May the God who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Leah, who's come up for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people. And we say, Amen. Please remain standing for Hagbah and Galila, the rising and rolling of the Torah. We invite Aunt Karen Greenspan to dress the Torah, and you will find that on page 36.
Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael, Api Adonai biyad Moshe. Yana nai 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 nai. Ya nai 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 nai. Ya nai 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 nai. Yana nai 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 nai. Ya nai 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 nai. Ya nai 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 nai.
Please be seated. So part of what Leah does for her bat mitzvah, every bar and bat mitzvah does this, is to not just chant Torah, which you did beautifully, by the way, but to interpret Torah. This is a sign of a Jewish adult, one who can not just read it, but interpret it in the unique diamond that is you. And the light that comes from the Torah is going to be unique because the person that you are is unique. So, as a Jewish adult, will you share some words of Torah?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is Akev from the book of Deuteronomy. The main point of my Torah portion is to be grateful for everything God has done for us and to never forget that. In the beginning of the portion, Moses is talking to the Israelites about what they should do when Israel becomes prosperous. They are about to enter into Israel after wandering in the desert for 40 years, and Moses is trying to warn them of the dangers of success, greed, and arrogance. He gives them 4 guidelines, which are the basis for how they should act. The first guideline tells them to remember the hardships and tests that God put them through, and that they should always follow what he says. The second guideline says to always thank God for what is given to them. The third guideline reminds the Israelites to never grow greedy and think that they got to be successful by themselves. The fourth and final guideline says to not think that God owes them because of their goodness. These guidelines actually helped inspire the practice of thanking God before and after every meal, because it's considered arrogant if we eat and don't thank God. Commentators also think that Moses was especially worried about the Israelites thinking they no longer owed anything to God. If they ignored God's commandments, they might also stop with the rituals used to worship him. This means any time we do something without thanking God, then we are stealing from God. This could lead to the end of a successful Israel before it even begins. Moses tells the Israelites to never forget everything that God has done for them, such as liberating them from Egypt, giving them what they needed to achieve their victories, and giving them food to survive while going through the wilderness to find Israel. Moses tells the Israelites that they need to have gratitude to unlock the other tools that will help them be responsible and live a meaningful life. Moses also recalls the golden calf debacle, where the Israelites lost hope in Moses and God so quickly that they started to worship something else. To avoid future situations like this, they have to be prepared and maintain trust and humility. Their job is to love and revere God at all times. This applies to all Jews throughout time. Moses' message reminds me of the Ve'ahavta, which commands us to love God. Both Akev and the Ve'ahavta are steadfast in the idea that God should be consistently thanked and loved forever through generations. This also provides people with a place to express their love and gratitude to somebody instead of building their own ego. Moses also tells the Israelites to circumcise their hearts, or to get rid of the cruelness and pain that comes with disobeying God. He says by studying Torah and using the kindness and love presented in it, we can cut away what is blocking us from worshiping and be restored. This includes exposing our vulnerabilities and learning from them. In the words of the founder of Hasidut, a type of mystical Judaism, the Baal Shem Tov, also known as the Besht, taught that a broken heart lets God's light in. There are many different opinions about what Moses meant when he said that we need to cut away the thickening around our hearts. One way of thinking about it is approaching our vulnerabilities bravely. Showing the world our strengths and weaknesses allows us to connect with both God and the community and to not be brought down by ego. Like the Besht taught, it is in our brokenness that we can find the light, that we can find God. Moses concludes by advising the people that to reach Israel, they have to keep and renew their covenant with God, have integrity, and be ethical and smart with their decisions and thoughts. In today's age, Jews are incredibly successful, having created many technological advances and medical developments such as Waze, PillCam, and SnifPhone. Perhaps if the ancient Israelites ignored the commandments that provided such prosperity, these modern achievements would never have happened. Becoming a bat mitzvah is a significant accomplishment. It marks the transition to a Jewish adult and having the responsibility needed to contribute to the community. To me, being a Jewish adult means volunteering to support and help the community in celebrating Jewish holidays with traditions and food. Connecting to Jewish culture through family and holidays has always been fun for me, and I want to continue that as an adult. I love cooking and eating challah and latkes and potato kugel, knishes, black and white cookies, and hamantashes with my family, and I plan on doing that in the future. Volunteering is also meaningful to me as I can help people in the community while supporting causes that I care about. This comes through in my mitzvah project. I worked with the organization Books for Africa to pack and ship books to kids who don't have books of their own to practice and enjoy reading. I love to read and thought that helping other kids discover a love of reading would be a great thing to do. A big part of my Torah portion is about how the community has to remember to be grateful to God at all times. We can do that, but we can also apply gratitude to what we have in our own lives. We are fortunate to be able to read, own, and learn from books, so we can return the favor by helping those who are less fortunate to do the same. Personally, I want to continue engaging Jewishly as an adult. One way I want to do this is by going to Israel one day. I want to experience all that Israel has to offer, like the Western Wall, the Dead Sea, and authentic Israeli food. I think this will make me more connected to Judaism and give me another perspective on Judaism. Finally, I would like to thank all the people who helped me achieve this amazing milestone. First, I would like to thank all of you for coming to support me and watch me become a bat mitzvah. I would not have gotten here without the help of Rabbi Rachel, Mrs. Lipschutz, Rabbi Spike, and Jessica for tutoring me and teaching me Torah. Grandpa, you are always there for me. I love when we play cards, and also thanks for teaching me how to shuffle. Grandma, you are super fun to bake with, and I love seeing you and also getting to eat your amazing cookies. Grammy, I love cooking with you and making all different kinds of things together. Spending time with you is always super fun. To my brother, although we have our differences, I enjoy celebrating holidays together, and I love you. Finally, I want to thank my parents. Dad, you are the best dad anyone could ever have. Whether you're laughing about a bad joke you made, getting crushed by me in Madden, or just talking to me, I know you've always got my back, and I love you so much. Mom, I love cooking together, staying up late talking, and watching too much TV together. You are one of the kindest and best people I know, and I love you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Does anybody have a doubt that we just heard from a young woman? Leah, that was so good. That was so good. Okay, well, we're going to talk more about that in a moment. Friends, we're going to continue with our Haftarah reading. The blessings are on page 36 and 37. Leah, right along the lines of what you were just talking about for your Devar Torah is the prophet Jeremiah, and that's who you're going to be chanting for your Haftarah, Jeremiah 33, 10 through 11. And Jeremiah's message essentially is, hey, sometimes life is not rainbows and unicorns. I'm paraphrasing, right? Life is not always easy or fun or, frankly, safe. And yet, there's an idea that things will get better if we look deep and remember truly who we are, if we connect with the people around us who are on this journey with us, we keep our eyes up and remember that divine wind that propels us forward, that divine wind that we call Adonai. Your blessings are on page 36 and 37 whenever you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav divrehem hana'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Haboher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'B'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Thus said Adonai, again there will be heard in this place, which you say is ruined, without man or beast, in the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man, without inhabitants, without beast, the sound of mirth and gladness, the voice of bridegroom and bride, the voice of those who cry, give thanks to Adonai, God of hosts, for Adonai is good, for God's kindness is everlasting, as they bring thanksgiving offerings to the house of Adonai. For I will restore the fortunes of the land as of old, said Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzor kol ha'olamim, tzadik beho hadarot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber umkayim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, Shanatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnuha, lehavod u'tifaret, al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim la, u'mifarhim ota, yitbarach shimha b'fi kol hai, tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo,
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. We ask everyone to rise, please, and invite up family friends Lori and Norman Feynman to open the ark. You'll find Eitz Chaim on page 39. Come on up. Yeah. One on either side. And whenever you're ready, you're just going to open the ark.
Eitz Chaim hi המחזיקים בה ותום אחד מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיך שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. Lee, I'm going to have you stand right over here. Take a step this way. Take a step back. And we're cha-chaing. Okay. So, boy. Lee, I've said it before, of all the things that we get to do as rabbis here at Emanu-El, including high holiday services and ruckus Friday nights and weddings, what we do with you what we've been doing with you for the last couple months is just our most favorite thing. And that is getting to know you on a deep level and have really deep conversations and study what's called Torah Lishma, Torah for the sake of higher thought or higher thinking. I've known you and your family for a good long while at this point, and I've said this many times to your parents, you could be the fourth pea in the pod in my house. Of my 3 kids, you fit in beautifully, and you could be the fourth. And you've always been that way. And when you were younger, you were this really sassy spitfire, and as you've gotten a little bit older, you've mellowed out a little bit, you're a little bit more thoughtful in terms of your actions and your thoughts, but I always just love hanging out with you and your energy. I love how you just dominate the sports conversations and pools and March Madness and football and everything that happens at the synagogue. I love it. I love the year that you came in first place in the pool. That was really fun for me. And you have an energy about you. You have an intellect. You have a spirit. Many people who know you, anybody who knows you well, knows that you're smart, right? But what they may not know is that you're very, very deep. And not just for a 13-year-old, for anybody. And this type of depth of soul, either you have it or you don't. We can't teach it to you, and you have it. We call this a spiritual life, right, or a spiritual instinct. And fostering your religious life or your spiritual life is so enriching, like creativity or athletics or music, but more so. It's almost a fire, emblematic, that lifts us up and helps us reach. And so my prayer for you, my hope and my prayer for you is that you continue being the amazing person you are, but more so. That you continue to find your stride and your place. You remember that you come from a long, long line of really compassionate and kind people who've been striving since the beginning of time to bring the world from where it is to where it needs to be, one intentional act, which we call mitzvot, at a time. And I am really curious to see where you go. My hope is that you just shoot like a shooting star and that you take us with us. So I and we are really, really proud of you, of what you've done, of who you are becoming, and where you are going. So this is the beginning for us, not the end, right? It is the latest step, an important one, but a latest step in your Jewish journey. And we are very, very pleased to do this with you. So now I'd ask everyone to rise, please. Take a step towards me. And we're going to bless Leah with a priestly benediction. This is the benediction that we've been giving to our youth at these liminal points of time since time began as we know it. If you'll raise your hands, and that way you can send her your goodwill, your prayers, your vibes, as we bless her in the traditional way.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav v'lecha v'yichonecha.
May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav v'lecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's face turn towards you and grant you the greatest gift of all, what you have right now. Feet on the ground, Torahs to your back, the symbols of your people and your history and your destiny all around you, surrounded by family and love, potential, a sense of wholeness, a sense of completeness, a sense of peace. And we say, Amen. Okay, everyone can be seated unless you are Leah's mom and dad, and then come on up.
Okay, Leah, as you know, I had to write this down. Leah Ashley, it doesn't seem that long ago that we were on this very bema celebrating your first birthday. Don't read along. And giving you your Hebrew name, Liba Ahava. Today, a remarkable young woman stands before us, called to the Torah by that very name, and creating your own beautiful path with determination and intelligence. And we've always seen that bright spark in you. Once when you were 2 or 3, we took you to Dad's office, and we went into a conference room, and you gave a quick and purposeful look around the room and strode right to the head of the table and sat down. And when you were in kindergarten, you went right to the head of state and wrote a letter to President Obama to discuss your shared birthday and what he thinks about being president. And it is still so very you that after marveling at the letter and everything that he said and sent, that you noted he didn't answer your specific questions. Similar anecdotes are plentiful throughout your life, and honestly, you even came into this world on your very own terms, as your aunt can certainly attest to. And no matter whether we are discussing world news or entertainment news, social justice issues that fire you up, or football, your latest big Lego build, or the plot twists in your current book or binge show, you meet each of those with a passion, a unique perspective, and a tenacity to every task that you and challenge that you tackle. This is why I put on waterproof mascara. You are comfortably and confidently you, always thinking, reading, building, and doing 10 steps ahead. And I've always said we look forward to hanging out with the adult versions of you and your brother. And today we get to celebrate and hang out with the Jewish adult version of you. And that's pretty darn spectacular. And it is, and you are, as impressive as I imagined. So Leah, my wish for you as you take this leap in life is to hold on to the message of your Hebrew name. Keep your heart full of love. As you said in your Devar Torah, continue to let God's light, your own spark, and the light of all the people who love you fill your heart and give you strength, compassion, humility, vulnerability, and gratitude. May you let your love and your light continue to shine brightly and illuminate the amazing path ahead of you. I love you, Leah, with all of my heart, and I like you too. Love you, baby. Me too.
You want to read along? I'm sorry in many ways, because the number of times that Mom or I will look at you and Mom will say, "She's so your daughter." Or I will sit there and look at you and see lots of Mom. And I can't say enough good things about you, and you're trying to be a grounding influence on me. You see long term, and you look ahead, and you're caring, and you're just a great person. And I just have to echo what Rabbi Spike said, and that I cannot wait to see where you go, and I hope you do take all of us along for the ride. You're just great, and I hope you know that, and you should be very proud of yourself. We're very proud of you, and we love you.
Okay. So Russ and Darren Leah, if you'll go on up and open the ark. Friends, we're going to rise for Elenu, which you'll find on page 40. Yep, right up there with Mom and Dad.
Latet gidula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye aratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, Uvistachavim umodim, Lifnei melech, Malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nemar, v'haya Adonai, Lamelech al kol haaretz, Vayom hahu, Vayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo echad.
And family, if you'll close the ark. Everyone can be seated. Yeah, come on up with Mom and Dad and stay right at the bima with us here. Friends, we're getting ready for our Mourner's Kaddish, which you'll find on page 41. Leah, we talked about how the Jewish generation who've come before us, we believe that they're here and smiling because of who you are and what you've done today. Your family today especially remembers Myram Greenspan and Lonnie Arrow. Their idea is, of course, that they are here and they are with us in every way that matters. Friends, if you are in the first 30 days of mourning a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise now and be recognized, either here in the sanctuary or in your home. If you're in the first year of mourning a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise now and be recognized. If you are commemorating the yahrzeit, the death anniversary of a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise now and be recognized. And if it is your custom to rise in solidarity, or for the 6 million who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we invite you to do so now. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 41. I'd ask that you think of the person that you are saying Kaddish for. Picture them here in this moment, healthy and hale and strong. See their head turned towards you. Your eyes meet theirs. And slowly you begin to smile. Yikdav, Yikdash me Rabbah, Be'alma divra chirote, Ve'yamlich malchute. Chayechon, Yivomechon, Uvchayedecho Beit Yisrael, Bagalav Izman Kariv Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach Le'olam, Ulamei Omaya. Eat Baraf, Ve'yishtabach, Ve'yit Pa'ar, Ve'yit Ruman, Ve'yit Naseh. Vita dar, vita le, vita lal, shme de kucha, brichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'charta v'nechemata, dami rambi ama v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imru mav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Huya say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen.
Beautiful. Zikron the bracha. May their memories be a blessing. Okay, family, come on down here. Everyone can remain standing. Havdalah is the way that we end our Shabbat celebrations. We begin Shabbat with candles and end with a torch. This torch is made up of 5 intertwining candles, showing that none of us are here alone, and just like a family or a community, that each of our flames helps embolden and strengthen those around us. So, who would like to hold that wax may drip a tiny bit, so just hold it right over here, okay? We bring all of our bodily senses into Havdalah as we hold on to the sweetness of this moment of Shabbat and all we've experienced.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen na 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim yai lai 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei morei ha'esh borei morei ha'esh yai lai 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil bein kodesh lechol hamavdil bein kodesh lechol yai lai 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 ya la 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 Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol Chatotenu yumin kol Zareinu v'chasvenu yarbei kachol V'chukakavim alayla Shavua tov, Shavua tov Shavua tov, Shavua tov Shavua tov, Shavua tov Shavua tov, Shavua tov Eliyahu hanavi Eliyahu hatishbi Eliyahu Eliyahu Eliyahu
Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Elanu, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Mazel tov, everybody. Mazel tov.